Hello, I am Marcelo and I am here to discuss incentives as the variable compensation you get for doing your work. Should you be paid more for what you deliver? Of course, everybody wants to be paid more, but let us take a closer look at the business implications. There is a dilemma when we want to talk about incentives. When we look at paying more, we should consider that employees would be more willing to make the extra effort. There is an expected benefit to the company that is greater than what it is spending. It is a great tool to retain good talent. Now, when we look at paying less or not paying incentives, there are also points to be taken into consideration. The fixed salary should be good enough to keep workers motivated. The company should not have to rely on incentives to get the work done. Employees will gain the goals to enhance their benefits. There is also a question of how incentives should be delivered. Criterion can be more subjective or more quantitative, or even a mix of both. The time frame of incentives can be daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly. You need to define what you consider to be the proper business drivers. You can make incentives more simple or more complicated. Those are all very interesting questions, and the truth is, when you start talking about incentives in your company, it is a lot like discussing politics or religion. And what I mean by that is, nobody is really 100% right, but everybody thinks that they are right. Therefore, most people want to impose their opinions. This being said, it is very helpful for us to take a look at what scientific papers have to say about this, so that our recommendations are properly subsidized. So there are four main blocks related to incentives that we need to take a look at. Agency theory, incentives and performance, measures of sales performance, and empirical evidence. Many different authors have built on those four blocks of knowledge. Let us first take a look at agency theory. Agency theory is an important building block when we want to analyze incentives. It came up in the 1970s, and when you trace back most of the modern studies, they will reference agency theory. Agency theory establishes that there is a relationship between an agent, such as the employee, and the principal, such as the owner of the business. The relationship has a moral hazard, since the principal wants the agent to maximize his effort, which is not always what the agent wants to do. The principal needs to monitor the agent to ensure performance, but monitoring also has a cost. Agency theory identifies two main relationships through two formulas that I am simplifying here. The agent has a utility that he wants to maximize, and that is the sum of his fixed and variable compensation minus his effort squared. This means the agent wants the most money for the least amount of effort. The principal wants to maximize his profit, which is the sum of his basic results, what he got through incentives to the agent, minus what he paid to the agents. This is a solid foundation to tackle the three other blocks. When we talk about incentives and performance, the initial research first focuses on what people say they prefer. And what people say that they prefer is cash, lots of it, and fast. So here's what my friend Tom has to say about this.
Show me the money!
Well, despite people saying they prefer money, this is not really how they behave. Research shows that people have positive responses to a variety of incentives, both cash and non-cash. Real-life experiments have shown that many times results are very similar. With time, researchers were able to conduct experiments and collect data in the field. They all found a positive relationship between incentives and production. Lazier found a 44 worker productivity increment at Safe Light Glass in the USA. Parsh and Scherer found a 22.6 productivity gain in tree planting in Canada. Copeland and Monet saw a 12% increase in productivity versus a 5% increase in cost at the check processing agency in the USA. This bodes well for incentives, but how do we measure performance? A good benchmark is how sales are measured. The key reason for that, because sales are very easy to quantify. Some companies measure sales results based on input or effort, for example, how many leads the person has created. Other companies prefer to measure sales results based on output, for example, how many sales actually happened. Some companies prefer to just look at the end results. Other companies are worried about how sales were achieved. Yet another view is that salespeople have an important role as knowledge brokers inside the company, while other companies see it as wasted effort. Finally, as more data is made available to researchers, we have more empirical evidence to analyze results of sales incentives. The following works on the screen show real-life cases. Suru analyzed the replacement of a linear compensation system to a more complex system. This improved sales results, but created other dysfunctions such as gaming of results in an auto dealer in Japan. Misra and Nair analyzed a model that increased results in 9% at the lens manufacturer in the USA. Chung and Narayandas looked at a case where they found no difference between using bonuses or penalties at a durable goods manufacturer in India. So this is good feedback that you can use in your own system. In a different study, Viswanathan found that changing incentives to concentrate only in financial incentives actually decreased performance by 4.36% in the USA. So cash is not always king when we are talking incentives. Well, I have talked for way too long now. So what does this mean for your business? I have 4 takeaways. First, incentives have an undeniable positive effect in performance. This is scientifically proven in sales and operations and very likely to help other business areas. So use them. Second, incentives do not have to be huge piles of cash. People also respond to modest financial incentives as well as non-financial incentives. This will not stop people from asking you to show them the money, but they will get the job done. Third, how you build your model depends on what you want to do and also on the business culture. There is no right answer here. Just refrain from creating a model that is too complex to avoid a conflict of objectives, which is really wasted money and effort. Fourth, incentives are never too much as long as the company is also getting results. Business administrators need to share the wealth to create more wealth for themselves. So if you want to be stingy, you should do that on the fixed pay instead. I hope this was useful. Thanks for watching and see you next time.